Hello, everyone. This is Lions Dan with another news and commentary. Now, ladies and gentlemen, remember last year, March of 2024. Remember, I did a story about a man named Dexter Reed who was gunned down by Chicago police multiple times by an unmarked, no clothes officer. Well, Dexter Reed's family has received a settlement from the city of Chicago, $1.25 million. So I'm going to read an article. This comes from Fox News Chicago, or Fox 32 News Chicago, and it says Dexter Reed's shooting, Chicago reached a tentative of 1.25 million settlement with man's family after a fatal gunfight. Now, I'll continue to say is that the city of Chicago has reached an attentive of 1.25 million with a family after Dexter Reed, who was unalive by Chicago PD in 2024. So, for those of you that didn't know what happened last year that I reported, a young man has been stopped by that officers that do not wear any uniform, did not identify themselves as police officers, on a routine traffic stop. Now, Dexter Reed, had attended. You see the article right there. But Dexter Reed, okay, and this is from the COPA, City Civilian Officer of Police Accountability. They stopped this man. Basically, they said that because first he said because he had no seatbelt on, and then but some of the cops didn't have seatbelt on either. Second reason they said, well, his tenant is too dark. But then you see in the video that he raised down his window in the middle because at the end of the day you don't even know who these people were, because you don't know if there'd be a carjacking or somebody trying to take you out. You don't know. And they not even identify themselves as officers. So little they know, they try to grab the door handle. We call them the knockoff crew. When you have them in Atlanta, we call them red dogs. That there's cops, road cops that can just do it. They can just they can just do what they want to do and think it's funny and get away with it. Those cops. So this is from COPA, which is Civilian Officer of Police Accountability. It says that Reed, 26, was shot at least 13 times on March 21st, 2024, after he fired at an officer, wounding them in the wrist. And yes, Dexter Reed shot them first because they didn't identify as police officers. They didn't say police. They haven't even shown them a badge. But it continues to say, 4 officers returned fire, shooting nearly 100 rounds in just 41 seconds, striking Reed multiple times, including the chest, back, and legs. Now remember, after the shooting happened, he came out of the vehicle with no gun and had his hands up, and they still shooting at him. So it continues to say Reed's unalivement was ruled a homicide by Cook County Medical Examiner's Office. The shooting, which begins after police stopped Reed for an alleged seatbelt violation, prompted protests and federal lawsuit from his family alleging excessive force and civil rights violations. COPA's investigation found out that officers continued shooting after Reed exiting his SUV and fell to the ground. And I did show y'all the video last year of that incident. And again, now the city of Chicago, and I think the Chicago Police Department, has agreed with Reed's family to pay him that much. Now, the only way they can pay the family that much is when they admit they were wrong, or the cops were wrong in this situation. That's the only way that they decided to pay the family. Now, these officers, and this is what's so disrespectful for this. So these officers who did the shooting last year has been paid on administrative leave, but one officer in the situation resigned. But guess what happened to that officer? He went to another police precinct in a different state, as usual. So you see, you got these knockoff cops, also known as Red Dogs in Atlanta, but these same rogue cops who can intimidate, who can what's the word I'm trying to think of? Stop and frisk people like in New York, right? They can do all of that and get away with it and thinking that's funny. What's worse about it, they didn't even do anything. They just do it for the fun of it, not for reason. And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, was a no-no. And I think I stopped that right there because I tried to do the entire article, and my iPhone, of course, just how you do an article and iPhone just doze off because you're not paying attention to it. That, but as you can see, that the family has every right to win that case because that doesn't make any sense. Why would you kill? Why would you, excuse me, this is YouTube. Why would you delete a man who basically didn't know if y'all really cops or not? Y'all haven't identified y'all as cops. Y'all didn't even putting out a badge proving that you're a cop. They even think in their mind this is a carjacking. And he rolled down his windows just to find out who you really were, and y'all still didn't know y'all still didn't identify who y'all really were. So when they try to get in his vehicle, and yes, Dexter Reed shot first, but then you don't even know who these people were. You probably was a op or a rival gang or something. So when this incident happened, ladies and gentlemen, that's when I did that story. It was pretty clear that Chicago PD want to cover this up. They don't want the mainstream media to even know about this investigation or these cops as a whole. They just basically tried to say, well, the guy shot us first, we returned fire, and we did what he had to do. But at the same time, one thing wasn't clear. Y'all didn't identify yourselves as police officers. When you have any routine traffic stop, we have a routine traffic stop. The first thing in law enforcement is, listen, we're blah blah PD. We want to search we have an arrest warrant to search your car, or blah 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 blah. We have a search warrant to search your car. Anything like that. They haven't done none of that. 26-year-old Reed last year shouldn't even be in this situation if these officers identify themselves. And they think he's in the wrong by shooting at them, but at the same time, I would have thought, who are you too? You didn't identify yourself as an officer. I don't see no badge or anything. The cars they was in was unmarked. So who should I believe? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just happy that, even with that, the family at least received this settlement, but this shouldn't even be like this. The son should have been alive. But because of these rogue cops these days, they want to stop and frisk. They want to do and try to harass the police, doing racial profiling on these people, and thinking they can get away with it. Yeah, I got away with it. Ain't nothing they can do. And then they placed on administrative leave because of this shooting. And one officer who resigned has went to another police precinct in another state. And yet, y'all still want us to respect y'all? Let me know what y'all think about it in the comments.